In this relatively short video series, I will share with you, with the help of God, some really amazing stuff. I will try to be brief, but please be patient. This might very well be the most informative series you have ever listened to. First, I will share with you the secret of all secrets, the one which some of the greatest sages of Israel have attempted to unveil for over 2,000 years. Only one person in the history of mankind was made known of this secret, our forefather, Jacob. But even he was not given permission by God to share it, even with his own children. Why then was little me granted this privilege? I'm not sure why, but the greatest mystic of all times revealed this possibility. In the holy book of the Zohar, authored by Rabbi Shimon, son of Yochai, over 1800 years ago, it is predicted that there will be a time at the end of days when the secret of the Kates, the end time, the time of the arrival of the Messiah, will be known to the smallest of men. The time is now. Apparently, being that I have the distinction of being the tiniest of the smallest of men, I may have been chosen to reveal this awesome secret to you. Time will tell. I will also reveal to you how I know with absolute certainty that tomorrow, November 3rd, President Donald J. Trump will be given another 4 years to complete the godly mission he was entrusted with in preparation for the coming of the Messiah. I will also reveal to you the metaphysical identities of President Trump and his rival, the former Vice President and sidekick of President Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden. Lastly, I will show you that the Lubavitcher Rabbi actually revealed many of these truths, although nobody picked up on it until now. If there is time, I will also share with you what is behind the current pandemic. You shall see. I've been studying Jewish eschatology for almost 40 years, and I have hundreds of sources to back everything I plan to say. In these short talks, though, we will have to skip the sources. If there is interest, I will share them with you in future talks. Let's begin by reading from the book of Daniel. Daniel was born in Jerusalem and was taken captive as a young boy by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar shortly before the destruction of the first temple 2,462 years ago. He lived through the 70 years of exile and served as advisor to Babylonian and Persian kings. He lived to witness the building of the Second Temple 350 years before the Common Era. The secret of the end, the Kates, the time of the coming of the Messiah, was revealed to Daniel in code. However, the keys to decipher the code was denied to him. Let's read from the last chapter of Daniel, paraphrasing and with some commentary when necessary. At the time of the end, there will be a decree against the Jewish people, the likes of which have never been seen. The angel Michael, the defender of the Jews, will stand up against the Satan, and the Jews will be saved because they are inscribed in the book. But you, Daniel, must obscure these things and seal your book until the time of the end. Then permission will be given to unlock these secrets. Daniel was standing on the banks of the Tigris River, a river that originated almost 6,000 years ago in the Garden of Eden, as recorded in the beginning of the book of Genesis. Today, it flows from Turkey into the Persian Gulf and is surrounded by Iran and Iraq, which is very significant, as we shall see later. In his prophetic vision, Daniel sees the angel Gabriel hovering over the river. On one side of the river stands the spiritual guardian of Esau, son of Isaac, and the guardian of Western Christian civilization. On the other side stands the guardian of Ishmael, son of Abraham, guardian of the Arabian and Islamic world. Daniel continues, I addressed Gabriel, who was dressed in white linen garments. Sir, when exactly will the elusive end of the Jewish exile occur? I then observed him raise his right and left hands toward the heavens and swear in the name of God. After 2.5 times, the torment of the Jewish nation will finally cease. Daniel continues, My master, I do not understand. What does 2.5 times mean? Have I not told you that these things are meant to be obscured and sealed until the end of time? And at that time, the angel continues, many will be refined and will have clarity, but there will also be wicked people who seek to destroy everything. The wise will see this very clearly. Gabriel continues, and now let me reveal to you another number which you will not understand until you are resurrected at the end of time. Starting from when a sinful disgrace was placed upon the Temple Mount, count 1,290 years. Fortunate are those who patiently await for 1,335 years. And that is the end of the book of Daniel. Now, let us begin to decipher these codes. First, why are there two dates, 1,290 and 1,335 years? The great mystics have already revealed this. The soul of the Messiah will descend after 1,290 years and begin preparations for the redemption in earnest. Subsequently, that soul will depart this world and then return to bring about the final redemption sometime before 1,335 years have elapsed. The first time he is called Mashiach ben Yosef, Messiah, the son of Joseph, because Yosef's true identity was concealed from his brothers. The Messiah too will not reveal his identity the first time around. The second time his soul descends, either in the same resurrected body or in another body, to finish the job, he is called Mashiach ben David, Messiah, the son of David, and his identity will be known. Incidentally, there's another prophet who revealed that we actually will not have to wait until the very end of the 1,335 years. God speaks through the mouth of Isaiah in the end of chapter 60 of his book. Hakoten yila elef v'hatzor l'goy otzum ani Hashem v'ito achisheno. The small nation will in the future become a mighty force. I am God, and I will bring this about before the very end of the time. God is assuring us that we will not have to wait till the very end of the 1,335 years. Now, let's proceed to uncover when these 1,290 and 1,335 years will commence. Actually, Gabriel says exactly when they commence. He says, start counting from the time a sinful disgrace was placed upon the Temple Mount. It was assumed by the great early biblical commentators, Rashi and the Ramban, that the angel is referring to the actual destruction of the Second Temple in the year 69, or possibly to the erection of a temple to the Roman god Jupiter by Hadrian, emperor of Rome, somewhere around the year 120. Hadrian attempted to rip out of the hearts of the Jews any hope of ever returning to Jerusalem and building their temple. So he built a pagan temple on the site of the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple. He also renamed Jerusalem Aelia Capitolina. He did this to link Jerusalem to Capitoline Hill, one of the 7 hills of Rome, upon which another temple to the pagan god Jupiter already stood. He also forbade upon the punishment of death for any Jew to step foot in Jerusalem. He made an exception for Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of the Jewish month of Av, the day on which we mourn the destruction of the first and second temples. On that day, the Romans allowed the Jews to enter Jerusalem and witness firsthand why they are fasting and mourning. Hadrian's decree remained in force until it was rescinded by the Islamic Arabian Caliph Umar, when he took the city from the Christians in the year 637. Hadrian also changed the name of the land of Israel to Palestine in order to erase any connection of the Jews to this land. The Pelishtim, the Philistines, were ancient enemies of the Jews who occupied the Gaza Strip and harassed the Jews for hundreds of years. In an attempt to pour more salt on our wounds, Hadrian decided to rename our land after our biblical enemies. The Pelishtim were finally crushed by King David and sent into oblivion by Nebuchadnezzar. Parenthetically, it is assumed that Thomas Jefferson, when he was serving as Secretary of State to President George Washington, named Capitol Hill the neighborhood in Washington, D.C., in which the U.S. Congress and the Supreme Court are located after Capitoline Hill. The symbolism is striking. Capitol Hill versus Capitoline Hill. The dream of our founding fathers was that the United States of America will finally detach Western civilization from its pagan and godless Roman roots to become a nation under God, striving to live up to the ideals of the loving and compassionate true God of the universe as expressed in the Bible. In any case, the Messiah did not arrive in the years 1404 or 1445, that is 1290 or 1335 years after the destruction of the Holy Temple, or after the construction of Hadrian's pagan temple on the Temple Mount. In fact, that time period was a horrible time for the Jews. Many massacres occurred all over Europe. The Inquisition was established, and a large and prominent Jewish community numbering several 100,000 souls was cruelly kicked out of Spain for the sin of not converting to Christianity. They had been living there for over 1,400 years since the time of the destruction of the Second Temple. However, Rashi and the Ramban were not entirely wrong. Something very messianic did actually occur at the end of that century. On October 12, 1492, the Italian explorer Christopher Columbus set foot on what was destined to become the greatest and most moral country in the history of Western society. We'll get to that later. So when does the 1290 and 1335 period actually begin? Stay tuned to the next video.